Oh man, the peas, the peas. I mean, doesn't saute mean to jump, right? Right? Sometimes it means to jump out of the pan. Hi, I'm Melissa Clark, and I'm here in the NYT Cooking Studio kitchen to make pasta Primavera because it is finally spring. This is a dish that can take so many forms depending on what kind of vegetables you have and what kind of pasta you have. There's no one authentic recipe. It is a recipe that changes with the cook. It changes with how early or late in spring and Primavera you make it. So I'm going to show you my version of it, which is very simple, very green, using 2 different kinds of peas and asparagus. And then I'm going to make it creamy with creme fraiche and add a little bit of Parmesan. This is such a simple recipe, so let's just get right into it. Out of all the things we're going to do, getting this giant pot of water to a boil is the most time consuming. It's always better to add the salt after the water's come to a boil. The water takes longer to boil if you add the salt before it comes to a boil. If it's already boiling, it's going to dissolve immediately and it'll save you a little bit of time. All right, so how much salt should I add to this pasta water? The water should taste as salty as the sea because not only are you cooking the pasta in this, you're actually seasoning the pasta. So, I mean like that much, right? And I'm going to taste it and I'm going to determine if it tastes like the ocean. I'm going to add just a little bit more, actually. I'm glad I tasted it. Okay, so we're just going to let that hang out. And I'm going to get the veg ready. The idea behind Primavera, obviously, is to use spring vegetables. However, you can use whatever vegetables you like. It's a very adaptable recipe. But we're going to stick with spring here. I'm going to start out with asparagus, one of the vegetables that, you can get it all year round, but it really does taste better in spring, especially if you can buy the asparagus close to where it's grown. It's just fresher and sweeter. There's a lot of controversy over asparagus bottoms. Do I snap? Do I cut? It really doesn't matter. I like snapping because I actually find it very fun to do. The thing about snapping though, you don't want to snap up here because you're going to waste a lot of the asparagus. So these snapped ends are perfectly edible. They're just tougher. You can just slice them very finely and add them to the pan or save them for a delicious springtime soup with rice and a little bit of lemon. I think I have a recipe at NYT Cooking. If you want to look, it's really good. And then these cute little sugar snaps, I will use my hands as much as possible whenever I cook. I'm just going to cut these up a little bit. You're looking for little bite-sized pieces that will mix easily into the pasta. I mean, springtime, my favorite is the green garlic. I love, because the thing is, have you ever noticed that as the winter, like you're in winter, the beginning of spring, and it's sort of getting bright out, but the garlic, all the garlic at the supermarket is dried out, little husks that are horrible. I love fresh garlic. So once the garlic comes in, I'm just in heaven, but that doesn't happen until May. Let's do our English peas. They're kind of sweet. You can always use frozen peas. Frozen peas are great. You can just throw them in soups and rice dishes and they add color. They're also good if you get into an accident and you need to put something cold on your face or your little arm. As a mother of now a big kid, but a formerly small kid, the peas would come out, all the boo-boos. I'm cooking everything in butter. You could also use olive oil or use a combination, but I want the creaminess. I want that rich butter flavor. I'm also gonna add creme fraiche. So if you're already gonna do creme fraiche, why wouldn't you also do butter? Let's just go there, right? So I am the kind of cook where I'm usually sauteing one thing and then chopping something else to get it ready because I find it more efficient that way, and I'm also not good at planning ahead. But for this recipe, it goes so quickly that you just want to have it all ready, all your mise en place, all set. You don't want to overcook these vegetables. 3 to 4 minutes and they're going to be done. So in addition to all of our spring vegetables, we also have, very important, our allium. So I'm going to add all the vegetables at once, including the onion and all the green vegetables. Sometimes you build flavor. You start out with onions and garlic. For this, really 3 to 4 minutes, I want everything to cook at once. I want it to cook very lightly. I'm trying to preserve the fresh sweetness of everything. I'm going to add the peas because these are fresh peas. Fresh peas actually take a few minutes to cook. If they were frozen, I would hold off and add them later. And just season with a little bit of salt I'm sweating the vegetables. So I'm not trying to get them brown. I'm just trying to get them glistening with butter and perfectly tender. I don't want caramelized flavors in this particular recipe because they're very pronounced and they would obscure the freshness. Okay, you can see they're starting to turn a little bit of a brighter green. Here is another trick. Say that you're doing this and your pan starts to look really dry and you're worried that your vegetables are going to get brown and caramelized. You've got the pasta water right here. Just add a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons full to keep it going. For the last 1 minute, I'm just gonna add the garlic, and that's just sauteing it to warm it and release its fragrance and cook it a little bit, but not too much. I like to add the pepper at the end rather than at the beginning. I don't want it to toast. I want the fresh pepper flavor as well. And I'm gonna add more right before serving. So we're gonna let this hang out while we cook the pasta. You can use any kind of pasta for a primavera, but because we're working with fresh, tender vegetables, I really like to use fresh pasta, which cooks in like 1 to 3 minutes. It has a really nice eggy flavor. I love it. You want a long pasta? Although actually short pasta's fine. It's so forgiving. Use whatever pasta you like. Use your favorite pasta and it's gonna be great. This recipe calls for 12 ounces of pasta, so just be aware when you're putting it in water. Fresh pasta cooking, you can see that its color changes a little bit. It lightens in color. It was a darker yellow, now it's a little bit lighter. Okay, we are in business. Often in pasta recipes, you cook it till it's about a minute or two shy of the proper texture. This one, we're not cooking it anymore, so we're not gonna do that. What we are gonna do is toss it really quickly with all of our ingredients. So we have our hot pasta, our vegetables. This is the creme fraiche I mentioned. This is our cheese with the herbs and all my vegetables. And then I'm just gonna add the pasta. This recipe goes so fast, and I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. Some people would add pasta water here. I don't want the pasta water in this dish because I really want the richness. I want it to be super creamy. However, if you want a bit of a lighter sauce, you could add a little bit of pasta water to this mixture right here. I didn't mention what kind of herbs I used. Any kind of are good, but I really like tarragon. It just adds like this licorice freshness that I love. There's like a food stylist way to do this, and I'm not very good at it. I have some fresh young vegetables and some old white wine. Yum, springtime. Springtime on a plate, all my favorite things. A simple dish, but it feels like a celebration. You know, it really feels like we are celebrating spring. We've all spent so much time with our winter cooking, our stews and our soups and our long simmered things. It is such a joy to cook beautiful vegetables really quickly and let them shine. To me, this perfectly encompasses the ease of spring. To get this recipe, plus many other beautiful springtime recipes, you can click the link below. And also, if you have a comment, we want to hear from you. Let us know what you're making for spring.